God created the universe a long, long time ago. And by the way, VisiPop confirmed that if God ever enters the show, it'll be a woman. So I'm going to call her she for this video. I know I called God a he in other ones. She was disappointed in her creation. Sexism ran rampant, quite ironic, honestly. And everything that she built, everything that she made just fell apart and became nothing but destruction. As she stayed in heaven, disgusted with humanity. She was going to save it, bring it up, but she decided not to. Too disgusted on what they became. And no matter what she did, no matter what she said, they just kept on continuing. As she became fed up with all of this, fed up with it, she decided to leave heaven entirely and just watch from her own plane of existence. As she watched more and more and more, she found this. She found this to be disgusting, but then she saw something. As she would check in on heaven every once in a while, she came in and saw Serpentius. As she looked at Serpentius, Serpentius would look at God. "Oh, you're a woman, that's cool. Your Majesty, I am glad to be of service to you. I am here because I was redeemed." Redeemed? Those words. She made hell to keep people down there forever because they weren't worthy of heaven. She set up the rules for people to go to heaven based on if they were truly deserving of it. Of course, there were many exceptions, like Adam and people that helped her plan, but generally, they had to be deserving of it. A demon was deserving of it? Was she wrong? Was her entire philosophy wrong? Was impossible. She was God. As Sarah would say, "Lord, as she would say, make sure Serpentius is comfortable here. I'll be back." As then she would teleport to the Hazbin hotel. As God appeared to the hotel, she knocked on the door as Charlie would open it and say, "Welcome," as she felt pure angelic energy. And now, Lucifer didn't really talk much about God for obvious reasons. They weren't on the best of terms. She didn't really know who this was. But the power was immense. She never felt anything like it. As she would say, "A fellow girl boss, I like it," as she snapped her fingers. "You go, girl. Anyway, I know your dad and I aren't on the best terms, but I heard about your success, and I was so happy to meet you." As she would say, "Who are you? Are you an exorcist?" No. I create, not destroy, except for the flood, but we don't talk about that. I am God." As everyone looked shocked. As Angel Dust was utterly shocked with the rest of them, he would say, "So, it's a shame God's a woman and not a hot man," because God would say, "Don't even start, Anthony." As then Angel would say, "How did you..." "I'm God, remember? I can know people's information just by looking at them." Husk would say, "I thought you were all knowing. Humans get some things wrong. Anyway, enough of that. I'm here to help you with your hotel, because you've done better than all of heaven." She would sigh, as Charlie would say, "What do you mean I've done better? I've done nothing right." God would say, "Don't you know? Serpentius was redeemed." As they all looked shocked, as Alistair was too. Alistair couldn't believe that Charlie's idea actually worked, and that kind of sickened him. As they all looked, just mortified. As Nifty would then start to cry. As Angel would say, "What's wrong, Nifty?" Nifty would say, "I thought God was gonna be a bad boy, but instead she's a nice woman." As she cried, as God was like, "I never got that reaction before." As then Angel would pick her up and say, "It's okay, Nifty," as he would carry her out. As God said, "So, do you want me to help you or not? I mean, I am in charge up there, so I can just make them help out your hotel." As Charlie would say, "Sure." As then she would shake hands with Charlie. As then she would go back up to heaven. As Sarah and Emily were there, Emily would say, "Isn't this great?" Sarah would say, "Yeah, great." Usually she spoke her mind, but considering this is literal God, she didn't want to say anything bad about her. As God would appear, Sarah would say, "So, what's the plan?" As Sarah would then look at God, God would say, "Call a meeting." As she called a meeting to heaven, everyone would surround them. As everyone then looked, Luke would say, "Ma'am, with everything going on, Will you lead the exorcist yourself, destroying them? As then God would say, quite the opposite. We're gonna help the hotel. As Lute would piss, she couldn't really do much. She would leave. As God would say, if she backtalked me, I would just laugh. After all, that takes a lot of balls. As then she would just have a conversation with everyone, talking about bringing things to the hotel, talking about how things will do, and God would say, and to make sure it's done right, I'll become a demon for a year or two to watch over it. As everyone was shocked, as Sarah would say, why do you need to be a demon? I don't, but I want to know what it's like to be in their shoes, to better understand them. As she snapped her fingers, she then went into a demonic form, her face becoming pure black, her red outline, as her face became fire with eyes. As her body became dark and red, she said, man, this is edgy. I like it. As then she appeared down to hell, as Sarah would say, what the F just happened? As then God would snap her fingers, making Adam come back to life as a sinner. Would say, this is very fitting. You failed once and created sin. Now you are a sinner. Only makes sense. As then Adam would say, God, why the hell do you look like that? Are you undercover? Bad A. Am I undercover too? Let's go in. As God would say, nope, you're going to be redeemed in the hotel so you can get back to heaven. I've always found your behavior troublesome, but I didn't really talk much about it since I didn't have faith in humanity. Adam would say again? That's a lot of words, is this a test or something? Adam. As then she would grab his hand and begin to drag him to the hotel. As Adam would say, ow, 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 let go of me. She would say no. As then she knocked on the door, Charlie would open it. As she would say, Adam, as Vaggie would run out with her spear. As God would say, relax, I'll keep him in line. Adam would say, I just did my job for you, right, God? God would say, I was gone when that was ordered. Sarah ordered it, not me. As then Adam would say, whatever. As then she would just throw him on the couch and say, welp, you've got a new guest. Good luck with that. And I've decided to become a demon so I can walk in your shoes and see what it's like to be a demon. Honestly, it feels pretty cool. I have this anger building inside me. I don't know how you guys deal with that. Charlie is, it's not that hard. I cross it with positivity. God would say, that doesn't sound too healthy. Anyway, let's get this started. As then she would help Adam get therapy and other stuff, as she would also ring in guests, as everyone was scared of her. After all, it's literally God, and she carried power around her. Anyone around her could sense her power, could sense her aura and begin to shake. As one day Lucifer would walk in, as then his mouth dropped. God, what are you doing here? He began to shake and say, are you gonna take my daughter? God would say, what? Why would I? No. As God would say, listen, I know we had our differences, but Lucifer would then have flashbacks of being kicked out to heaven, as he would cry and say, I don't want to go. I don't want to go, as he would put up his fist and begin to punch God. Of course, this did nothing. God would simply sigh as Lucifer hit her again and again and said, please don't take me back down. Please, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I'm sorry. As God would sigh, she would hug him and say, I'm sorry, son. I am. As they would both hold on to each other and hug each other. As Lucifer would look up and say, I missed you, mother. I missed you too. As then they would both smile at each other. As God would then pull away and say, well, that was nice. Lucifer would say, why are you a demon now? Because I'm here to help you in hell. And Charlie, Lucifer would say, stay away from her. Charlie would say, Dad, I said stay away. I don't trust you. She would say, I understand, but I'll do what I want. As then Lucifer would sigh, he would then walk off and say, if she does anything suspicious, let me know. We have a plan in case she comes down and does something like that. As he leaves, Alistair would say, what was that about? Charlie would say, I don't know. As then we cut back to Lucifer. As Lucifer was in total shock. He couldn't believe God was here. As he would pick up a book, he had a plan. Him and the rest of the sins can gather up all their powers and all their energy and try to absorb God's power. It would probably kill them all. He wouldn't tell them that, though, but it could potentially stall God. But why? Why would he do this? Why would he even want to fight back? God was always stronger. She just let him do what he wanted because she didn't care. How worthless was he? As he dropped the book and cried, God would hold him and say, I forgive you. And I'm sorry. Lucifer would look up and say, I forgive you too. Let's start anew, mother. As in they would both nod. As then we cut to Adam as he is receiving therapy. As months would pass, it was time for his visit to heaven. As Adam would say, I got this. God would say, I don't know, you're not really heaven material. Then why'd you let me in? As then she would laugh, calm down, I'm kidding. As then Adam would go off with Charlie to be interviewed. As God didn't want to go because, well, then the interview would go too soft. As Adam went up to heaven, he would meet with Sarah and Emily. As Sarah would say, what happened to you, Adam? Did you join her down there? I mean, you do have a thing for women, but that is kind of your mother. That's messed. As Adam would say, no, ew, no. I was brought back to life because I died down there and was forced to live with them. Live with the people that took my life. Pretty messed up. Anyway, I went back into heaven. Charlie would say, you have to ask nicely. Please. Sarah would say, well, with the rules, you have to pass the test. As Adam would try to take the test, he would fail miserably, but Luke would rig it so he would pass. As then, Adam would be given his old outfit back, and he would transform back into his angelic form. As Adam said, finally. Although I did look a lot cooler as a demon. Luke would say, I hate them, but I have to admit that. As then they both nodded, as Adam ironically proved that Charlie's plan could work, and became his own worst enemy by doing so, because now there would be no exorcism. As in God would teleport back to heaven and say, well, that was nice. As in she would go back to her angelic form. Say, thank you. So, you're like my dad's mother? Does that make you my grandmother in a way? Charlie would say, will I ever see you again, Grandma? Of course. I'll come down to visit every once in a while. You know, I failed humanity, but you all put things together. Thank you. As then she would disappear. I'll leave things off. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share with all your friends. All of that would mean the world to me. I really do love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting me. Peace out.